Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Hollow Knight, where this is yet again another commentary due to the audio not working in the previous video file. So this is what I'm doing now. So going by the title I put for this video is when I start properly doing the DLC for the Grimm Troupe. And now, there's not much I can talk about when it comes to the Grimm Troupe, other than, one, it was probably the most fun DLC I had to play. The only downside being for me, and I'll be honest here, guys, is I did not beat Nightmare King Grimm. And I'm going to put that down to skill. It's a skill issue. I am not good enough to beat Nightmare King Grimm. And I will honestly say that. Which is why I'm going to have a talk with. I'm going to have a talk with the other guys of the channel and basically ask them for. Sorry, my brain just went blank there. I'm going to ask the other members of the channel and see if, and this is a big if they want me to, because I've got an episode where I'm fighting Nightmare King Grimm, and it is not the best. So I'm thinking, just to save you guys such a boring watch, because I don't succeed for a whole hour. I'm contemplating not. I'm contemplating not showing that episode and just skipping it entirely, because it's such. Nothing happens other than me constantly going back to Nightmare King Grimm and getting finished off. And I'd rather you guys have fun and watch something a little bit more entertaining than me just constantly not beating a boss for 1 hour. And I will contemplate that with the other guys of the channel, but I'm pretty sure they're in agreement that it doesn't make for good content. So I will potentially just delete it. And yeah, we'll see how it goes though, because I'm pretty sure it's the episode after this one. But we'll see. We'll see. Pardon me, I'm burping now. Um, trying to think of what else to say about it. But yeah, I think I will not use that episode just because of that. But I do want to, with the other members of this channel. And then from there, well, the rest of the episodes will run just as smoothly. So, yeah, I think that's what we will do, but I just want to make sure of them. And then from there, it should be smooth sailing till the end of the series that I did for Hollow Knight. Because I think it was after the Grimm Troupe that I started actually going, right, where are places I haven't explored, what haven't I done yet? Try and wrapping up quite a few things, and then going from there. So yeah, Hollow Knight. I'm trying to think of what I can talk about. I could probably talk about how I got introduced to Hollow Knight, actually. So I got introduced to Hollow Knight through a friend of mine. They mentioned this game and said that if I like Dark Souls, I would probably like this game. Just bear in mind that it's 2D. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a look. And I didn't look into it for a long time. I think it was only not last year, the year before that I stumbled across it, and I got it for free through the PlayStation Plus. I think it was the year before. Oh, it might have been last year, but I got it for free through the PlayStation Plus, and it was the Void Heart edition as well. I thought this is actually a really good chance for me to try out the game. I'm gonna give it a go. Let's see what it's got. And it was such a blast to play, and I do remember having such fun with it. And I spoke to that friend. Was like, I should have listened to you sooner. I should have played the game sooner. Like, you told me about this amazing game, and I just basically added it to my backlog and got round to it whenever I got the chance, which I did. Admittedly, and they just said like, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine. You've played it now, though. I was like, yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking the lore, what I'm picking up on it, on the lore, and I'm liking quite a lot of other things about the game as well. There's so many ways to play, so really, really enjoying that. And then they mentioned me, well, it's a Metroidvania. I was like, Metroidvania, I've come across that term before. Explain to me what a Metroidvania game is, where it's Castlevania slash Metroid style of games. And I was like, oh wait, yeah, I have heard about that before, and I've oh, never played Castlevania. Never played Castlevania, so I couldn't really. I was like, oh, so that's what it means. But not long, not long ago now, after playing Hollow Knight, I did get my hands on Metroid Dread. Now I know Metroid Dread isn't quote unquote the best Metroid game because I think um what was it? Um, yeah, I remember someone saying to me Metroid Dread isn't the best in the series, and that there are others that are much much better. Which okay, that's fair enough. But I did really enjoy Metroid Dread. I thought the exploration was really really cool, and it wasn't easy. It's not an easy game either. I think someone said, "Oh, it's quite easy." I'm like, not with my hands. It isn't. Like my hands like to either spasm or stiffen up. So yeah, it's, so yeah, I really enjoyed Metroid Dread. So that was my taste of a Metroidvania game, and I kind of like it. I kind of want more, but at the same time, I don't know what I'm looking for when it comes to Metroidvanias. I might just look at more Metroids. That might be a easy task to do. So I might just look at more Metroidvanias. Um, Trying to think what else. The only thing is, I'd have to look into the game. So I think it'd be best if I stick to what created the genre as such first. So I'd best look at Metroid. I'm best looking at Castlevania, and then going from there, I believe. But it might not be the best. It might not be the best. I don't know. It's not a genre I fully dived into. I'm not particularly sure if you get what I mean. I don't actually know. So it's an idea. It's definitely an idea. So I might. It might be something that I do later on down the line. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, and I don't fully know what I'll be getting into. So it's definitely a thought. I've played one Metroid, which is Metroid Dread. That's it. I haven't played any of the others. Castlevania, I just know of. The closest I've played is Castlevania Lord of Shadows, but I know that's not a Metroidvania game. So I don't want to dwell on a game that probably has very little to do in the way of being part of the Metroidvania genre if I'm going to give the genre a go. So I'd have to look at older games probably, and I'd have to look to how I do that, which is going to be interesting. Oh dear. Because sorry for the it'll be interesting because I don't own an old Nintendo console. I've just got an old. I've got a PlayStation 2, I've got a PlayStation 3, I've got a PlayStation 5. I have a PSP somewhere. I've got a PS Vita somewhere as well. Um, so I've got some options, but nothing too definitive. I've got an old Nintendo 3DS. I've got an old American Nintendo 3DS, which I used to play SMT 4. I've got a Switch, so I might have a look on the Switch because I know Castlevania is Nintendo, Metroid is Nintendo, so that might be a good shout there. I think that is my ticket to do that one. Other than that, I don't actually know. I'm not too sure. Definitely have to look into it. Yeah, I definitely have to look into it. I think I'll have to have a look at my Nintendo Switch, and I'll have to look into possibly um what's the word I'm after? Looking into doing stuff with the Switch, I guess. And just trying to have a think now. I think the Switch is probably the best way to go. Yeah, I actually agree to that. I think the Switch is the best way to go. It's just what do I want out of the Switch to make that happen? And obviously, if I do videos on it, well, I've got to bear in mind that Nintendo absolutely hates doing anything at all and letting people do whatever they want with their IPs, whether it be make videos on YouTube or just anything at all, just even breathing on it lately. So, got to be very careful about Nintendo being Nintendo, basically. So that's going to be fun because Nintendo really don't like letting people do anything. Yay! Okay, just having to think now. So let's have a look. Yeah, I think the Switch would be the best bet. Okay, so that's an idea in the future for videos. Maybe that'd be another thing I'd have to discuss with the guys because we don't want the wrath of Nintendo to come down on us just because I decided, hey, I think this would be a fun idea. Oh no. It sounds funny in my head, but at the same time I know it's not. So that's the thing. Back to my original topic, where friend introduced me to Hollow Knight. Um, really, really thankful that they even did that. Um, it's made me interested in Metroidvanias, but I've not really delved much into it. So it's definitely on the list for the future. Um, I'm trying to have a think now. So I had my introduction to Hollow Knight. How did I get introduced into, let's say, gaming in general? I guess I could talk about that quite a bit. So I've been gaming or into games for as long as I can remember, from 4 years old, if I remember. Because my dad brought home a Sega Master System and I fell in love with it. And I think I must have had a rare copy or something because the Sega Master System that my dad bought, it came with a copy of um, Alex the Kid in Miracle World built into the console. I've never come across that before. Never. And I thought it was just really cool. And everyone I've talked to has said, no, that's not a thing. Was like it was a genuine Sega Master System console. So that's a piece of tech that I need to find again, because if it still works, I can be like, I've got the proof. I've got the proof it works, and I can prove it. And I would love to. I would love to show it, because I can imagine it would look absolutely amazing to people. I really do think it would do really well as as well, because I might keep it and just save it for sometime in the future, like that as an idea. But we'll see, we'll see. Um, but yeah, that got me into gaming because there was so much stuff. There was so much variety of games back then. Even though games are games, it was a very niche market. There were so many games that I played. One vividly I remember playing was Operation Wolf. That was a hard one. That was a hard game. I'm trying to remember others as well. It was Operation Wolf. It was Blue Thunder, where I played as like a helicopter. That was cool. Um, there were Alex the Kid in Miracle World, obviously. There was loads. There was absolutely loads. I don't remember them all though. I swear there was one which was like the Street Olympics or something like that. I remember a skateboard being part of it as well. I can't remember if that was the name of it though. Oh, that's going to do my head in now. But moving on from that, the next console that my dad got was the Sega Mega Drive, or for you guys in America, it'll be the Sega Genesis, I believe it was called over there. Now, the Sega Mega Drive was also a great console. Now, admittedly, I never had the Sonic games. I never played them until much later in life. But I did have a lot of the other Sega games, which were classics at the time, like Shinobi, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3. I, there was loads. There was so many games back then. It was unreal. And I do remember um, just thinking to myself, like, I, as a kid, I got stuck on what I wanted to play because there was just so much. There was just so much to do. and it's it's definitely a game I recommend. A game console I can recommend if you're out for collecting purposes now, because there's so many good games on it. But if you don't want to fork out for a completely retro console, there is the Sega Mega Drive collection on the PS5, Steam, and Xbox consoles, which have just as many of the games that are good and worth playing. You don't need to fork out for a retro console. There's no need to do that. There really isn't. You don't have to. I wouldn't advise it, either if you're very short on cash. Short on cash, just don't do it regardless. Um, but you've also got um, what came after the Sega Mega Drive for me. For me, I believe it was straight into the PlayStation. I believe, yeah, I went straight to the PlayStation after the Mega Drive, which isn't a bad thing, you know. Like this, PlayStation's got one of the biggest game libraries I've ever seen, and the same goes for the PlayStation 2. It's the sequel, the brother part of the family. Like PlayStation is just massive, absolutely massive when it comes to its game library. And even then, you know, a lot of the library also never left Japan. So there's only a fraction of what we have seen from the PlayStation library is available to us. Only a fraction. And that's saying something, you know? That's just how vast it is. Now, the PlayStation was where I really got into gaming properly as a whole. Because, yeah, sure, I may have played the Sega Master System. I may have played the Sega Genesis. But the PlayStation is where things felt like I knew what I was doing. I knew how to do this. I knew how to do that in games. At a very young age of like, I was about 7, 8 years old when I got my PlayStation. I was 8 years old when I got Final Fantasy 8. You know, there's definitely a lot that I can attribute to the PlayStation for my love of video games. And it wasn't just 3D video games. I enjoyed Wild Arms. That wasn't 3D, really. So, it's it's nice to know in my brain that the start of my love of video games was from a console from my childhood, which is the PlayStation. And I still play PlayStation now to this day. It's not due to quote unquote brand loyalty. It's just through ease of knowledge of I know what I'm familiar with. This feels fine to me. The familiarity I can get used to very, very quickly. And from there, it's just very easy to play my games. I can just pick up a controller and play. I don't need to worry about, I don't know, if my game is going to run or not. For the most part, everything works fine. Like I know a lot of people, including myself, who have trouble with their gaming PCs. Where they're like, oh no, my PC's not running this game. I want it at 60 frames per second, and it's just messing everything up. And like, oh, okay, I can play it on my PlayStation. It's fine. Yeah, but that's on console. Like, yeah, it's on console. Yours is much more powerful, and it's not running it. Why? Oh, because it's not set up correctly. It's not geared towards this. Exactly. I'm playing a copy straight away because it's geared towards the console. You're struggling because you're having to refix your settings to how the game should be played on your PC, not at the maximum specs as what your PC is capable of, but for your PC to go, no, this is how it should be played on this PC, and this is how it should feel like. That is just it's a mind-boggling argument that is constantly had in the gaming community right now, especially with PC elitists, just constantly going, "Oh, well, I've got a better PC than yours." Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't really care. I'd rather just be able to pick up and play. That's on you. Can you do the same? Not all the time. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Like, I wish there was a camera on me and you could see me just pulling the thumbs up for you, mate. But unfortunately, people just see that as very antagonistic, and it's not antagonistic at all. It's just okay, just crack on with what you're doing. Then there's no need to brag about tech that not everybody can own because of money. Cool, you know. I'm lucky. I've got my PlayStation 5. I got it through a scheme through EE, the phone company EE. When I have a scheme about, oh, you can pay this amount on top of your contract, and we'll get you a PS5. Awesome. I want in. It's the only way I could afford. And you know what? I do not mind. I do not mind at all. You know what? It feels good. It feels really, really good. And it works. It's fine. It works just how I want it to. But that's also where the idea of games at the moment, where we're coming into an age where every game can work with every console. Should be quote unquote cross platform. There shouldn't be any issues. Nobody should be having any issues with their games at this moment in time. No one should. Because we're at an age where we can fix things online through patches and hot fixes and things like that. Um, Games are coming out more and more incomplete, which should not be happening at all. But devs are spending now more time fixing problems that if the games were just delayed just a little bit longer, maybe they wouldn't have these problems. And maybe, just maybe, the games might come out a bit more complete than what we're getting. You know? But I'm still annoyed to this day that the Spyro Reignited trilogy, when it first came out, only had Spyro the Dragon on the disc. The rest had to be down. The Spyro 2 and Spyro 3 had to be downloaded. Now, to me, that's not. I should not be buying a Spyro trilogy if all three aren't on the disc. I will happily say that, and I will fight that. I will fight on that hill until the day I die. Whereas now, Activision Blizzard did actually re-release the Spyro the Dragon Reignited trilogy with all three on the disc and did not let anyone know whatsoever. And you have to look for a specific copy with the date on the disc, which I believe is 2019. You have to pay attention to and find that date, and that's the copy with all three on the disc. And if you're buying a new copy, then it should have the Crash Team Racing promo leaflet inside the box as well. Which you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to do that. But if you really want it, you gotta find it. You gotta know what you're looking for and find it. Which I find absolutely absurd. It really is. It really, really is. Right. I've been on a tangent for quite a while. I'm just going to talk about Hollow Knight for a little bit here because you might be watching the video and being a little confused about what's going on. So, I've talked to Grimm. Grimm sent me out on a quest. He has now forced me to. Well, he's asking me to go around the entirety of the map, find these Grimm Troupe guys, and get the flames off them. I have to beat them. And you have to bring them back to Grimm with the quote unquote child, Grimm child, and that should strengthen it and make it more powerful. Now, if I wanted to, after doing this the second time round, you can go and just stop the quest by doing a certain thing with a certain NPC and he just ends it. There is that possibility. However, Nightmare King Grimm is something that I want to beat. So I haven't done that specifically, so I can come back to Hollow Knight in the future and just go, right, I want to beat this guy. I actually want to beat this guy. How do I do it? So, with that in mind, that's why I haven't gone out of my way to beat Grimm just yet, anyway. Okay, I think that's the end of me talking about the game just a little bit. And because honestly, there's not much else to talk about other than me just traveling around the place trying to find these Grim Troop members and getting the flames off them. That's pretty much the extent of the DLC. Um, there isn't really much else to talk about when concerning look right now, fighting a guy with the flame just to get the flame, you know. So I'll leave that to interpretation. Let's talk about. Well, I've been on my tangent of PlayStation. I can clear any suspicion of me. Yeah, I have not owned an Xbox myself, but I have played an Xbox at my cousins and my friends. So I may not have ever owned a console, but I have played the console. And as quote unquote my first ever online kill in Halo Reach was an air assassination. And that's all because I just turned around and the guy was there behind me mid-air and I got him. Yeah, it's just one of those. I don't play the Xbox because I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters. I'm not the biggest fan anyway. So I steered away from it. I did enjoy Halo. I'm not gonna lie. I did enjoy Halo, and I can understand the huge appeal for it. It's a pretty good game. It is a pretty good game. So you know what? I will give you that. I will give it that. And I'm just trying to think now. Do 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 do. I think the last Sega console I ever had was a Sega Dreamcast. That was another console that I really really enjoyed. Unfortunate that it died out the way it did, because that console had some potential to it, and I really do wish that you know it could have lived a bit longer than what it did. Oh, hello. What's this do again? Yeah, yeah. On the map, it's showing me where I need to go find the flames. I did forget about the map doing that. Do, 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 do. I'm just trying to think now. What else can I talk about? Let's have a think. Ooh, I could probably talk about something that's not related to gaming for a little bit. Food. Now, I love my food. I don't eat enough of it. I have to admit, I'm very bad for keeping to like a food schedule, but I do love my food. Um, I've got a huge love for curry, uh, whether it be Oriental, Chinese, or Indian. I love curry. I love it so much. A lot of my friends can't eat curry, especially the curries that I can eat because I can eat the very spicy ones. Um, some of them have mentioned that you know it's not all about the spice. I agree. It's all about the taste. It's spice doesn't affect me the same way it affects everybody else that I know. I can taste it, and it's it's what's been dubbed asbestos mouth. I don't feel anything, but it also means that I can actually taste like the actual spices in some of the quote unquote spiciest curries, which is honestly I wouldn't choose the fowl again for its spice. I'd actually refuse it because it doesn't taste very nice. It tastes very tomatoey to me. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a big fan of tomato anyway, but it's the best way I could describe it. Um, I prefer masalas. I prefer kormas because of the creamy nature of it. Vindaloos are quite nice. Not gonna lie. I do like a vindaloo. But yeah, I like spicy food. I'm a big fan of curries, and the curry has to be thick. It has to be thick. It has to be a curry. It can't just be like, oh look, it's done this. It's it it can't be watery. It's got to be thick. It's got to feel like a sauce because that's what it is. Curry is a sauce, so it's got to be thick and it can't be watery. If it was watery, I'd be too happy with it. So yeah, I'd rather it be nice and thick. Um, trying to think what other foods do I like. Now, I like my meat, I like my veg, I like my fruits, but I'm very particular when it comes to fruits. I like apples, oranges, bananas, grapes. I haven't really ventured much outside of that when it comes to fruit. Obviously strawberries as well, but the point being, I haven't experimented outside of the usual fruits. But I'd like to give them a try. I've heard pomegranate's very nice, and I'd love to try that. I'd love to give that a go, just because I'm interested in how it tastes and how it would be. You know, I want to try things. I like trying new things, so it's definitely on my list. Um, kiwi. I'm, my parents have told me I've tried a kiwi before when I was really young, but I don't remember it like at all. I don't remember it at all. So I'm just gonna say for the record, like, I haven't tried it, but I want to try it. I want to give it a go. Limes, I don't remember much in the way of limes, other than whenever it's in a drink, like lemon and lime, limeade, like lemonade kind of thing. That's about it. I don't remember much else from that, so I can't really comment because I don't know. Um, trying to have a think here. I might venture and try some new fruit at some point. Veg, um, same as the fruits. I have stuck mainly to the typical veg that you find, like broccoli, cabbage, sprouts, potatoes, carrots, turnips, parsnips, the usuals. Nothing too extravagant. Um, it's just one of those things. I've not really been very experimental with fruit and veg because I've not really seen much available to me. Meat is a different thing. I've tried every meat I can think of now, other than some like I would say local delicacies would probably be a best word for it. But I like my meat, I like my veg, and I like my fruit. I do not mind mixing and matching. Got to have a healthy variety. Now, I'm not vegan or anything like that. I'm not vegetarian. I've got quite a few friends that are. You do you. You do you guys. If you think you're doing a good thing, you do you. I'm not going to stop you. I think you're doing an amazing job. It's not something I'm willing to do myself. But fair play to you. Power to you. So I'll give you guys that. It's a it's a cool thing you're doing. It's just not for me, I'm afraid. But yeah, I like a lot of different foods. Um, Trying to think, are there any specific names of foods that I like? Um, I've grown a big fondness for Japanese food in the past couple of years. Bear in mind, I'm 32, so you know it's you know been one of those things that I've come across it and it's like, ooh, this is really really nice, and I want more of it. Where can I get more of it? And I just love to have it more. Um, there are two restaurants, Japanese restaurants nearby to where I am. One's a chain, it's a Wagamama's, and another is a private owned restaurant, which is doing well. I'd love to give it a try and see what we do, what they do with it again, because I've eaten there quite a few times now, and it's been nice every time. Just wish their menu was a bit more. That would be nice. Definitely something I would look forward to. Oh yeah, definitely. If I had the money as well. Money plays a huge part when it comes to things like this. And I can't say it doesn't because it's a restaurant. Of course it does. Money does play a part. And unfortunately, I'm not a I'm not a rich boy. I don't have a lot of money. I've literally got to deal with the hand that I'm dealt. So I do what I can. It's not perfect, but I do what I can. It's an honest living. Uh, yeah, I'll mention that I don't really want to talk about my actual job, mainly due to if I say something that I shouldn't, it puts my job at risk. So I'd rather not. I'd rather just not talk about it and be like, I'm doing a good job, doing honest work, and keep it at that. Uh, what else can I talk about? Um, I made a start on talking about foods that I like. I mentioned curry. I've mentioned Japanese food, Chinese, Indian, and I guess I just like food in general. I've got a bad habit of going for fried foods. No, I'm not. I know they're not the healthiest, but I just love fried food. It just tastes really nice and crisp, and ooh, got a nice crunch to it sometimes. I like fried food quite a lot. Um, Trying to think of any others. Drinks. I'm an advocate for juices. I love juices. So whether it be like orange, tropical, berry, you name it, right? I will drink juice no matter what. It's not a bad habit to get into. Like I drink it like I drink water, and it's good for you. It's healthy, and I do recommend it. In fact, I would recommend it more to people who struggle to find time to just, oh, I need to drink my five a day, whether it be like water and whatnot. It's like, well, just drink juice. It's always a good way to do it. Always. Ooh, looking back at the Hollow Knight video, and this is Nightmare King Grimm. No, sorry, this isn't Nightmare King Grimm. This is Grimm. Troupe Master Grimm. There we go. Duh. Brain, what did you do? What is my brain doing? And Troupe Master Grimm, honestly, one of the most fun boss battles I fought. Really is. He was one of the most fun bosses I fought in the game. It's not that he wasn't hard either. He was genuinely tough, but I had fun fighting him. Now I can't say the same for Nightmare King Grimm. I really can't. I It's unfortunate that I can't because I want to like Nightmare King Grimm. I want to like him a lot, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to like it. You know, it's such a shame. It really is. Because I'm there thinking to myself, man, if this fight was anything like, Troupe Master Grimm, then I'd just love it more. I really would. It's such a shame. I'm just trying to have a think now. I can't remember what was previous. Talking about drinks, yes. So, big advocate for juices. Definitely recommend them. Um, if you're not a fan of juice, just drink plenty of water. You need to drink your water. It's something that I would recommend doing at least some point. Just basically just drinking a huge amount of water, and then you never have to worry about drinking it again. You know, works better for all of us. Um, I'm losing my train of thought here. Um, so I've talked about food. I've talked about drink. I've talked about how I got into gaming. I've talked about what game consoles that I had throughout the years. Really, I've already mentioned the PlayStation. I mentioned the PlayStation 2. I haven't really mentioned the PlayStation 3. There is a reason for that. There's nothing much new with the PlayStation 3 for me. It just kind of had it. I think there was a period in time where I got the PlayStation 3 but barely used it much because there was barely anything to do. And I didn't mind that. There was always other things to do. Something else I could do. So I didn't truly mind. Well, oh yeah, I'm fighting Grimm again. Um, just to make you aware that Nightmare King Grimm is probably one of the most fun characters that I have come across in the series. Like he's generally a fun character. Never mind a fun boss. He is genuinely a fun character, which is nice. It's something that you want from both a boss and an NPC to be entertaining, and he does that. Grimm does that, and he does it well. So I'll let you guys enjoy the fight. Yeah, the PlayStation 3 didn't really have much going for it. It had games, it had quite a few games that I still enjoy playing, but not as much as the PS2. The PS2 had a huge library which got me into loads of different games. The PlayStation 4 is probably uh, where I found more and more games as time went on. And yes, I just beat that. I just beat Grimm there, and that allows you to carry on with the rest of the Grimm Troupe quest. So yeah, there's a thing. Yeah, I'm yawning again. But yeah, PlayStation 4 opened up a lot of avenues for me. I was like to like different games I wouldn't normally play as well, which is nice. I like having that kind of variety because I'm there thinking to myself, "Ooh, this is this is cool," and there's so much more you can do than just simple platformers or fighting games and RPGs. There's just so much more variety out there. And the PlayStation 4 helped me open that door and be like, right, so there is more to this than what I originally thought, which is nice, you know, really, really nice to know. And I'm very thankful that I did get a PlayStation 4 for that very reason of trying so many different games. Right, we're actually at the end of the episode, so I'm just going to say thank you for watching another episode, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye bye.